This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, Brian. It's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more. And it's Tuesday. Obviously, we're live. So if anybody's having technology problems, you're officially in a retrograde. That's all it is. That's what's happening. Oh, Rachel.
Yeah,
Kenny,
absolutely.
as we're waiting. And Diana, who's sitting next to me, who should have been upstairs. And Deborah, welcome to movie reviews and more. So I got to kick this off. All right. So live on K4HD Radio, Talk 4 TV, Talk 4 Media, streaming on over 100 outlets as usual around the world, and iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, where we have over 13 million views and counting. Very happy about that. So I got to say hi to Rachel. We had a nice chat today on Coffee Talk. She's going to talk about that later. Our friend from Northern, oh, by the way, she's from Houston, Texas, and you have to support her. She's got coffee mugs and things like that too. And she was going to talk about all the other stuff she has going on. So I may be able to hear you here and there because I had to take my headphones off so Diana can listen. So that's why this is the fun part about movie reviews and more. You kind of just go with it, and what happens, we get the best out of it. Got to thank my engineer, Rebel, who's in Louisiana. She's probably thinking I'm nuts. Got to love Howard Wiggins, because here's the thing about Howard. One of the world's leading top 35 interior designers, that actor, that great dancer, Howard, for whatever reason, I haven't put anything up new. They're clicking on your dance videos like I just uploaded it. I don't get it, but I'll go with it. They just love you. I don't know what it is. It's about energy, like we were talking about last week. We'll talk about more about that. And then my friend, I'm so happy that he's on. I wanted to make sure that he did this with Kenny. I'm going to work on the back end getting him on. The one and only Jeremy Van Bert. So Jeremy, let's start with you first. Introduce you who you are, followed by Rachel, followed by Howard, and then Deborah, we're going to go into you. All right. Go ahead, Jeremy. Take it away.
Hello there, my name is Jeremy Van Wert, and I help people become their best selves. I've been working with people for a really long period of time in helping people balance their lives, their spirituality, get themselves going. I also have a book that just came out, There Is More, Living a Life of Expansiveness in a World That Is Not Perfect. And it is about aspiring to be the greatest that you can possibly be. So that's the kind of work that I do. I work in the spiritual realm. I work with psychedelics. I work with married couples. I work with individuals. And that is what I do. And I used to play a lot of drums.
Oh, and by the way, we got 3 drummers coming out. Well, 2 of us are here right now, and then Kenny will be a third, so that'll be interesting. Howard, take it away.
Howard Wiggins Interior Design. I'm one of the world's top 35 interior designers. I've got a new kind of design I'm promoting. It's called Stacked and Layered. You can watch the stuff on my Facebook page. I'll show examples of it. I just did a TV movie that you can come and watch on my Facebook page. It's my father forced me to marry a billionaire, and I'm the billionaire, and I'm a really mean guy. So I kind of like playing that part because I had to think some nasty thoughts to say what I said, but you'll have to tune in and see what I did. So anyway, that was fun. And
we can't wait to see that one, Howard.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right. So Rachel, take this away. Let's talk about what we did for Coffee Talk and everything this morning.
Okay, my name is Rachel Ann Roberts, and I'm a little chef here in Houston, Texas. And I have a little show in the morning called Coffee Talk, and I had Brian on as a guest this morning. It was a lot of fun, and we discussed what we were going to talk about tonight on this show. And I've been working with Brian for several years, being a co-host for Movie Reviews and More. I'm also on Adventures of Pipe Man with Rebel, our engineer in the background, and we have a lot of fun. So working on a little book myself, Eating Clean, Drinking a Little Dirty. I made a hot sauce to show you guys tonight. We'll talk about that later. But so
And that's funny. All right, so Deborah. All right, so I love this trailer. I haven't even seen this movie yet. So here's the thing. I love Sean McNamara. He's one of my favorite directors. I love the stuff that you've been doing lately. So that's been fun. So when you win, I've been to the Boca Raton Jewish Film Festival. So congratulations on that. That's a great win for you guys. So when you can have that, I think it's the audience award, I believe, like that. And by the way, so you're that writer, that producer, that director. And now you can say you're an award winner. In case you never knew that, I'm claiming it for you for the first time. So if anybody say, Brian said I could say you're an award winner, I'm the first to tell you that you could say that you're an award winner. And when you work with Ron Bass, who's written Rain Man, who's one of my favorite screenwriters, you can't go wrong with that. So what about also this? Winning for Best Actor, Best Director, Best Feature, for the other film festival, Myrtle Beach Film Festival. Talk about it. So talk about this movie, talk about this trailer, and it's a true life movie. And I can't wait to see this in November.
Yeah. So the movie's called Bow, Artist at War. And it came about from me actually going to Israel for the first time in 2009. And I met these ladies who tell their parents' story. They go all around the world. They tell the true life story of their parents, who are actually the couple that got married in Schindler's List. It's a very short scene, but it showed two people getting married in the women's barracks. But it's their story of how they saved hundreds of people, actually thousands, out of the Plaszow concentration camp in Poland, and how they did this all behind the evil commandant's back. And the husband, Joseph Bow, he ended up becoming the top forger for the Mossad. So it's their story of how they fell in love and then how they survived and what they did in Israel afterwards.
Talk about when you found out that you ended up getting an award for this as a whole. You know, that's got to be something, because again, I've always said this. I don't like it when a film wins a best feature, but the screenwriter doesn't get anything for the film that wins an award. I've always say this. I find myself yelling at the Oscars if I'm not there in person, saying the film didn't write itself. The screenwriter should win for that because the film won. That bothers me. So for this, you have this. You have something that's great. And I haven't even seen it, but the trailer captured me in 10 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you. But I'm not just the writer. I was the main executive producer on this. So for the feature, getting best feature, it actually has gotten it in 4 different film festivals, that, of course, it feels amazing. It feels wonderful because it took me 15 years to get this movie made. So you can imagine, going up there and getting that award. It's like, wow, this actually took place. It actually got done. So I'm very grateful.
Jeremy, I saw your eyes light up for a minute there. You were like thinking of things.
No, I was. This sounds like an absolutely incredible story, a really harrowing story that's important to be told. It had to be, at times, an emotional story to act out and to be a part of in telling something like this. It sounds so deeply meaningful and emotional. Can you talk a little bit about the process, and at times when it was just really, you were glad to be there and be doing this?
I think, writing it for over 15 years, because I worked with different directors, producers, and had to change it many times to cater to people. But at the same time, I wanted to be true to the daughters. The daughters are the ones that really inspired me. they represent their father's office, which is now a museum in Tel Aviv. And they would be constantly checking in with me going, okay, which way is the script going now? You know, and that's where I kept my focus, is on what they wanted, and living in their stories all the times of their parents. That their parents are so inspirational because of their ability to sacrifice their own lives for the greater good. They were constantly risking their lives. Rebecca was the manicurist working under the evil commandant and taking the names of the people that were on his list to execute that day and going and finding where they were in the camp. This is a camp of 20,000 people. And they would make sure those people were hidden and then later removed out of the camp, because the guards didn't take that much care as to whether they found the people or not, just because there were just so many prisoners. So, you know, to me, it was inspirational, but on the other hand, it was a heavy burden. That's what I was trying to get to, is that there was a heaviness about constantly living in this atmosphere of what went on for 15 years of doing this. And at the same time, the heaviness of making sure I represented them correctly.
I would think that it would be an incredibly heavy burden, that there would be some vicarious trauma at times because of the heaviness and the seriousness of the subject matter.
You got it. It was intense. I couldn't wait till the script was right for shooting, because then that means I'm done thinking and being a part of it in that way. So,
Do we have a trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, I do not speak German. You can kiss my ass as you like. You didn't.
Is this my deposition or yours?
Name? Joseph Pau.
Why are you here? You're a new map maker, Commandant. Then you could be of service. Unfortunate. For you.
Is it possible to change my seat?
How does this work?
I'm waiting for the sunshine.
Looks like you might have a problem.
Maybe you can be my sunshine. Mama, I met the most wonderful woman for being my sunshine.
Only you yourself would find something like that in a place like this.
I see you. You take care of everybody. But who takes care of you?
Was a long, cold winter.
If we do our work, maybe we can survive this madness and tell our story.
And we danced in the rain.
Rebecca Tenenbaum.
If I turn around and I see you,
However long forever is, share it with me.
you'd say, however long forever is.
I'm just trying to give people hope. If you want justice, you're going to have to survive. Don't let them win me count. There's some things that they can't take from us. Laughter, joy, our spirits.
I still think you're a crazy person.
Warn me if that ever changes.
So sweet.
Hey, Deborah,
Wow.
talk about this. I always say it takes between an average of 7 years to make a documentary. But when you're doing a real life story like this, and you have someone like Emil, who's a great actor, and I didn't know you were exec producer on this, so I don't know how I didn't know that. I'm even more impressed with this, because we were talking a little bit about this when Sean was on about his film Reagan. And I go, Sean, you've got 2 movies. that are possible award contenders. Congratulations. That made me happy. And I'm like, I really look forward to seeing both of them, not only Reagan, which opens August 29th, but this one that opens is in November. So that's a great thing. Talk about this. Explain to the audience why it takes so long to get good films done like this. And all of a sudden after this, I decided I got to go to Jerusalem afterwards because I keep picking all these great Jewish films. And, I feel like, well, half of me is kind of Jewish in a way because I always support the Jewish Film Festival in Beverly Hills and anyhow. So I'm always invited to everything. So I might as well be Jewish.
Yeah.
Talk about that real quick, and then we're going to bring in Kenny on the phone.
Yeah, I'm not even Jewish, but it so moved me. When I heard their story, I was like, yeah, I'd never made movies. I'd never done a thing in the movie world. And when I heard their story, I went up to them and I said, have you guys ever thought of making this a movie? And they said, we've been praying for somebody to do that. I said, oh, okay, I'll do it. No problem. Little did I know how much it took to make a movie. And so the reason it took so long in my case is because it was my learning curve. I hired writers and then I didn't like what I was seeing. I hired producers and I just couldn't get the right fit until I met with Sean and David. Then I knew they had the heart. They had the right heart and they had the right, what would you say it? The way to make the film the best it could be. That's really what I found with Sean and David. And so I was so grateful that they were interested and they wanted to be a part of it. So.
All right, Deborah, don't go anywhere because Kenny was looking forward to seeing this trailer too. When he found out that you were on, he's like, oh, this looks great. I'm into this. He happens to be Jewish, which I didn't even know that. So okay. Jeremy, you get a chance to introduce him and we're going to have Kenny talk on the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Best case scenario. All right, so Jeremy, you get to say whatever you're going to say. We're going to all listen. Kenny's on the other end. Not too much pressure, Jeremy. Anyhow, go for it and have fun.
Kenny Aronoff is one of the most influential and in-demand drummers and percussionists in the world. Growing up in a small town in western Massachusetts, Kenny is a self-taught drummer who went on to study with members of the Boston Symphony Orchestra, earned a prestigious performer certificate with Indiana University School of Music. He joined the John Mellencamp band in 1980, recording 10 albums and touring with Mellencamp for over 17 years, and has since become a legendary studio musician, contributing to records with over 300 million in sales and more than 1,300 RIAA certified gold, platinum, or diamond awards. Beyond drumming, Kenny is a best-selling author, television show host, and accomplished corporate speaker. His accolades include being named the #1 studio drummer by Modern Drummer Magazine and Drum Magazine multiple times, as well as being listed among the top 100 greatest drummers of all time by Rolling Stone Magazine. So my first question is, why are you so lazy?
Kenny, are you there?
I am here. I didn't know if he was going to continue and I was supposed to answer that, or he was going to then go on and answer it himself. Well, thanks for that intro. Yeah, no, I am definitely a workaholic. I mean, I'm like 24/7. I got a wine coming out. I got an anniversary snare drum coming out. I'm always preparing. It's always, it's like I'm not a guy who will set it and let it, be. I have to keep moving. I just finished a 2-year tour on and off with Joe Satriani, and I'm already working for what comes next. And on a daily basis, it's a physical workout, and it's also, at least a 2-hour workout on the drums, just to stay in shape. Then on top of that, then I'm preparing for what I'm going to be recording or doing live. I just recorded 5 songs yesterday in my studio, and the preparation for that, I write every single note out. I rehearse it so that when I record, it's a full-on performance. Everything has to be at the highest level. Everything I do at this point.
That's so truly amazing. And I just remember being in junior high school and seeing your face on the cover of Modern Drummer magazine and reading the articles and just being so amazed by like the amazing people that were in Modern Drummer at the time, for sure. But with this incredible work that you do, you're on the road probably most of the year. Am I right about that?
Well, there were 2 years I was gone from home 11 months for the year, but I'm on the road a lot. I mean, last year I did 10 weeks in Europe with Satriani, 10 weeks in the USA with Satriani. And, you know, I mean, I'm flying all over the place to give speeches, corporate speeches, but then also some sessions, other live gigs. I just did 3 shows with Billy Gibbons in Hawaii. I'm going to be going out and doing some gigs with Sammy Hagar after he's done with the tour he's on right now, Best of Both Worlds. And pretty much every day something comes across my desk or my, you know, I'll get last night when I was sending files out for the songs I recorded, I was already getting I got an email from South Korea about somebody wanting me to record drums on 2 songs for them. It's just nonstop, but I built it up to that. You know what I mean? I built up this whole thing, you know. Oh yeah, there's my podcast too. Yeah, the podcast, as if I didn't have enough to do, that became a humongous undertaking because some of the guests I have are like Bill Burr, you know, the comedian, or Sammy Hagar, Joe Satriani, Ann Wilson from Heart, Steve Lukather from Toto, and you know, Ringo Starr, Joey, you know, Belladonna the lead singer from Anthrax. Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, Kevin Cronin from REO. I mean, that's the caliber of musicians I like to interview because I'm looking for them to share with me the, you know, where did it all start? How did you become successful? But more importantly, how have you stayed successful in, you know, such a challenging, you know, business as the music business?
That's actually a really good question. And I did listen to a number of your podcasts and I really enjoyed the energy because the energy that you exchange with these various different people, including Bill Burr, it's fun to listen to. It's really engaging. And you obviously have, you know, an incredible personal drive to just simply stay busy and all of that. And it has to be something that takes a really long time to build up the way that you have, just kind of like what you're talking about here.
Well, some of it is in my DNA, that's for sure. But, you know, nobody's born successful, and success doesn't just land in your lap. And it's like a math equation, 0 equals 0. And I'm sure there's some people that wish that wasn't true, but it's not. You can't, like I said, you can't set it and forget it. Even, you know, when Jack and Diane in 1982, that was the first #1 hit single I was ever on. When I'm saying #1 hit single, you know, when you're #1 on the Billboard Top 100 singles chart, you're beating out Elton John, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, The Police, AC/DC, the Rolling Stones, Billy Joel. To be #1 is you're blowing all those iconic bands out. Mm-hmm. And for a song that is still played on the radio 42 years later, of course, on all the new platforms like Pandora, you know, iTunes, and you know, all the other platforms. So the point is that when that became #1, I celebrated for 2 seconds, and then I went into like, I got to do that again. I am not #1. That's just one song. That was one opportunity. It wasn't all about me. I'm not the only one that made it #1. There was a lot of moving parts, so I need to do it again. And it's just like a great running back in football. As soon as he gets a touchdown, he's excited for about 2 seconds, and he's like, I want the ball again. And that's how you become successful and stay successful. Some of that is, like I said, in my DNA. But the other thing is, I am not the greatest and the best drummer in the world. I realize that. I am humbled by seeing amazingly talented drummers and musicians. And I do know, though, with my work ethic, I will take everything that I have and make it as great as I can possibly make it. And I do have a saying. It goes like this. I will never be as great as I want to be, but I'm willing to spend the rest of my life trying to be as great as I can be. Now that's like the running back. Those great running backs are monster athletes. Do they get touchdowns every time they get the ball? Hell no. But they keep trying. Sometimes a touchdown, sometimes 5 yards, sometimes 2 yards, sometimes -2. Sometimes they fumble. Sometimes they break their leg in preseason, and they keep coming back. And that, here is the key. Here is the magic. Why do they keep coming back? They take a year off, they can't play, they come back because they fucking love football. That is who they are. That is what they do. It's not a new brain. It's not an idea. It's a passion. It is the thing that drives them to keep going and going and going. I'm a running back in the music business.
Hey, Kenny, we got 3 other people on. So we got Chef Rachel Ann Roberts from Houston, Texas. We got Howard Wiggins from Brentwood, Tennessee. And we have Deborah. Deborah, I don't even know where you're from, but here's the thing. You got to tell them about your movie and who you are, and that you're the writer and executive producer of an award-winning film.
I think he already heard us, didn't he? Wasn't he listening?
No, he was trying to get on.
No, I heard it because at least I have the YouTube thing. You know, your show is on YouTube. I just can't get on visually.
Okay. Well, I hate to repeat all this. I want to ask Kenny how old he is.
Go ahead.
How old are you, Kenny?
I'm 71.
I can't see. That is what keeps you young. Is like you said, you keep on going, no matter what age, no matter how you're feeling, and you keep going with gusto. I mean, that was very inspiring, especially for those of us who are over 50.
Well, I have a gym in my house. I work out. I mean, I work out every day. I look at what I eat. I look in the mirror, and I go, if I don't like it, I make the adjustments on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it's that simple. It's you know, it's like, who do you want to be and what do you want to be? And I am fortunate. I have great DNA, so that helps me. You know, I got what I got to start with. So I had a great conversation with a guy who has a vitamin company, very successful, and we were talking about, you know, staying healthy and getting the most value out of the life you live in. But he said, you know, it really comes down to, it starts with your DNA, you know, and some people just have, you know, a constitution that, you know, if you take care of yourself and push yourself, it will respond in a favorable way.
Yeah.
Hey, Rachel, you got a question for Kenny?
So yeah, you know, Kenny, I'm 50. I'll be 51 in a couple weeks. So I definitely I can understand. You know, I'm writing a little book, Eating Clean, Drink a Little Dirty, but I am. Yeah, I definitely understand taking care of yourself, and I agree with all of that. Yeah. I've been listening to your music for a very long time. So yeah, very happy to have you on, even if we can't see you.
Yeah.
Well, I can see you guys. You can't see me, but I'm watching it on YouTube. And thank you. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I drink wine. I love red wine. You know, I have my second bottle of wine, Uncommon Wine, coming out next month. But I mean, the thing is, you know, you just take inventory the next day. If you had too much to drink, you got to pull it back. That's all.
Yeah, pull it back.
The bottom line is for me to perform at the level I want to. And I mean, I've done shows that are like 3 hours long, full tilt. I can't do it any way but 150%. And in some cases with John Fogerty, we'd have a 3, sometimes 4 hour sound check. And he demanded that I play at full volume, at full power. Oh my God. I mean, that's serious. That's like, you know, you gotta be in shape. So if you show up with a hangover, you won't do that the next day.
Hey, Howard, you got a question?
No, I loved his music. Jack and Diane, that's awesome. So yeah, I go back. I'm 71 also. So
oh, great.
I relate to everything he says. So yeah.
Hey, Kenny, talk about this. What was it like? You know, you went to UMass instead of UMass. You hang out in Indianapolis all the time. I'm a drum corps nut. Jeremy is a drummer too. So there's 3 drummers here. Obviously, we all bang harder, which is great. You know, we have a chef, We have an executive producer. We have a screenwriter. We have another actress, director, and model here. And we have an interior designer and an actor and a dancer. So you can't go wrong with the show, even if technology is not working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear any of that, what I said, Kenny?
I heard everything. You can't go wrong no matter what. And then all of a sudden, bam, you were gone. I heard you introduce everybody, and then you went blah blah, and then you were gone. Sorry.
Oh, so here's about this. People don't know. I mean, I was watching the Willie Nelson documentary, and it's Ray Charles is there, Leon Russell is there, and Willie Nelson. And all of a sudden, I see this drum. I'm like, I didn't know Kenny played there the last time Ray Charles played. Talk about that scenario, because that's what made me call you. I'm like, I didn't know that. That's why I love documentaries. That's why I love movies.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, did you hear me?
I heard everything up to. That's why I like documentaries. You talking about Ray Charles? Did you want me to say something about working with Ray Charles?
Yeah, talk about that scenario of working with Ray, Leon Russell, and Willie Nelson.
Well, that was Willie's 70th birthday. I did Willie's 60th birthday, and I played with Ray Charles then. Now, when I was in 5th grade, my parents took me to see Ray Charles, and that's right when What I Say was out, and I was just blown away by the energy and Ray Charles, of course. So for me to play with him was like, wow. I mean, that's just like when I played with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, the two remaining Beatles, after I'd seen them, 50 years after I'd seen them on TV, on the Ed Sullivan Show. So playing with Ray was like, I mean, it was breathtaking for me. And I was told, I didn't get to talk to him or say hi to him, but I was told that the key to playing with Ray Charles is to watch his foot, not his shoulders. Don't watch his upper body. His foot is where the beat is, and he's brutal on drummers, I was told, but he never said one word to me, so that means I was doing a great job. And so the next time I played with him, with Leon Russell, of course, Leon Russell, you know, I did 10 years with Joe Cocker, and Leon Russell and Joe Cocker were Mad Dog's Englishmen, one of the greatest rock and roll bands ever, you know, and especially at the peak of rock and roll. And I had a really cool hang with Leon, and he was so humble and he was honored to be playing with Ray Charles. I mean, Ray Charles, I mean, come on. I mean, the guy was hugely successful in both pop, rock, and country music, and you know, broke all the barriers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Ray Charles.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got a couple minutes left. Hey, Rachel Roberts, give you social media links.
You can find me at Rachel Ann Roberts. I'm also at Rachel Roberts Recipes. And I have a little show in the morning called Coffee Talk. And yeah, that's it.
Howard Wiggins.
Howard Wiggins Facebook, and my new movies on. Pardon? And my new movies.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh shoot, I forgot the name of the network. Oh, Passion Network.com, I guess. So
yeah,
and
that's it.
How to? My father forced me to marry a billionaire.
Oh, right. And tell Kenny where you actually come from. Your heritage with your dad.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I also met Ray Charles when I was younger. I was backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. He was doing the Johnny Cash taping, and I went and asked him for his autograph, and he wouldn't give it to me. And I went back to my father and I said, "Why didn't I get a Ray Charles autograph?" He said, "Because he's blind. He could be signing a check." I didn't think of that.
I love that story.
That's great.
Hey, Deborah, one last time. Tell people when this movie is coming out, why they should go see it, and what you hope the audience gets out of seeing this movie.
That's good. Coming out November 20th, and why people should see it. I think it's because it's inspirational. It encourages people to go beyond their difficult circumstances and reach for something greater. It's what I'm hoping they get out of it is to be inspired to wake up the next day, to want to do more with their life, to want to find the blessings in every moment. That's kind of the way these two lived, because they had so much coming at them that they learned to be thankful for everything that was brought their way that could help them get on to the next moment. So that's what I'm hoping people will get out of this, to be inspired by their lives, so that we can all kind of follow in the same way and all get along.
And also social media links. And social media links too.
Oh, just IMDb. That's the only thing I'm on. I've got a couple of movies, TV shows that I'm working on. So.
Oh, anything you could talk about?
Yeah, I have a sci-fi that I'm working on that Sean will be helping me with too. And my son is helping me write it. It is all about, I call it Voices. And it's about two cities. One's Vespacia, the other is Trash City, right below Vespacia, hidden out of sight. But these two cities are in a time where there's only a third of the earth left after Third World War. And it's how the people up above, who are all DNA enhanced and very perfect in all their ways, according to what the government tells them to do and how to think and how to function, compared to the city below, where people have been thrown out. Basically, the city below thrives, where the city above, Vespacia, doesn't even know they exist below, but they're living off the trash of the Vespasians. And so it's it'll be very interesting to see. It'll be multi-seasonal, maybe 8 episodes per season kind of thing. I
love stuff like that. I can't wait to see that. I mean, I'm really interested in sci-fi like that. That's
all right. Thank you.
Do you know, has somebody picked it up already?
Nope. I'm just finishing writing the pitch deck, and I've got the pilot written and the Bible, what they call the Bible, for the series. So
Kenny, I've been told we got 10 more minutes. So Jeremy gets to ask a couple more questions. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yes. Can you play Wipeout?
Can I play Wipeout? Yes, I can. I can play with my feet or my hands.
So I've got a question for you about just the fun of performing, because I imagine that, again, I mean, everybody looks like they're having a good time even when they're not, when they're performing. What are the kinds of performances, the kinds of environments that you enjoy the most, that are the most freeing and the most fun for you when you're playing with other people? What's that like?
Well, I enjoy every performance, even if I'm by myself practicing. I enjoy the drums. It makes me feel good mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's what I love doing. Obviously playing in front of, when I do the Kennedy Center honors, where you're playing in front of, like, I'm honoring Led Zeppelin or The Who or Billy Joel or Springsteen or Sting, and you're playing with the greatest musicians in the world, with the greatest, it's just, that is like the Super Bowl. And those things they're very intense moments, but it's the greatest. It's the greatest feeling. I enjoy what I do so much, and I enjoy, music and drumming so much, and I enjoy interacting with people so much that entire environment is so gratifying on so many levels. And it's not like one. I guess some are more exciting than others, but it's all under the heading of incredible. It's just a great feeling, a great experience.
At the times in your career when you faced some amount of adversity, times when you had to really push, times when you were really tried, what were the kinds of values that you had that really kept you on track?
It's funny because, when I first went on tour with a big act, with Mellencamp opening up for the Kinks, I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. And if I made one mistake, it would bring me down, and I persevere, but it really affected me. And what I've learned over my career is to I call it the Tom Brady effect, where you completely shrug that off and get past it immediately and think about how you're going to score a touchdown. In other words, I don't even say the word mistake or failure anymore. About those words were out of my vocabulary. Sometimes events happen that you wish hadn't happened. That's the way I'll say it. And the goal is, the North Star is to persevere and to be focusing on like that never happened. Or the amount of energy you put into focusing on what you just did that you didn't want to happen will distract and take away from doing an excellent job. I value that so much. And that's what I've learned over the years, is that you just push forward. You don't think about what just happened. That's done, gone. You got to focus on where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. And in my case, usually I'm reading music. I have tempos. I have cues. I have to be ready to problem solve. Usually when you have a band of 15 people, like when I do like the Kennedy Center Honors, all kinds of things can go wrong. The artist can mess up. My job is to solve that problem within seconds and push that thing forward. And I love being in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, talk about when you walk into the room, you're looking for the most important person in the room. I do the same thing. And you can't really walk in with your ego, but at the same time, you have to have a little bit of that because it's show business. Talk about what that's like when you, in that speaking world, when you're walking into that room.
Well, it's actually, for me, it's realizing who's the most powerful person in the room. And the only reason why I do that is because I like to understand what the vibe is in that room and I treat everybody the same, but it's good to know who's the king or the queen so that you will honor them because there's a reason why they're that person. And in my case, a lot of times they could be the people that I'm either supporting and serving, or they're the boss. And you don't want to, say anything or do anything that's going to insult the boss, you might say. But I like to just know. I like to understand the room I'm in. And but at the same time, when I walk in, I try to walk in with so much. It's a natural thing for me to do. Just walk in as Kenny Aronoff. I'm, and with complete confidence and respect for myself.
So you also have a twin brother, and talk about your book.
Yeah, I have an identical twin brother. He's a psychoanalyst, and my book, Sex, Drums, Rock and Roll. Yeah, it's basically about how I became successful. I've stayed successful. Some of the things, and that's some of the things I talk about in my podcast with everybody. Everybody, like I said, didn't just get born successful. And my story is what I have done to get where I am and stay where I am.
Jeremy, I know you got another question.
Yeah, I'm trying to wait my turn here. You've talked a few times here about the wine that you're about to be a part of. Can you talk about this? I'm a huge wine fanatic.
Yeah, the first it's called Uncommon Wine. It's a Napa Valley wine. The winery is called Smith Deborah. And the first bottle was a Cab Syrah, incredible bottle of wine. I don't think there's maybe 10 more left of that. Very, very rich, very full. The new wine that's coming out, well, it's out now, but we're going to launch it, is a Cabernet Merlot. And we're just trying to figure out, I have somebody working with me, Anna Maria, we're trying to figure out exactly where we're going to launch this. It might be in LA and it might be in Santa Barbara also. But if you go on the website, Smith Deborah, I think it's on that website already.
I'm going there right now.
And your
Deborah, you have another question for Kenny?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I know, I was asking Deborah. You have another question for Kenny?
No.
What about your podcast? How do we watch your podcast?
Okay, the podcast is called the Kenny Aronoff Sessions. Go on YouTube. That's the best way to see it. You'll see they're all up there. If you go to Kenny Aronoff Official on YouTube, you'll find the Kenny Aronoff Sessions. Or you can just put in Kenny Aronoff and Bill Burr, and that'll show up. And then you'll see all the different podcasts. right now I'm on Rick Beato's. I was a guest on Rick Beato's podcast, who has 4.4 million subscribers.
Wow.
And right now I'm about to break into 300,000 views in less than 2 weeks, which is great. And there's a lot that the situation there is I'm the one that's being interviewed, and I'm also performing. He specifically wanted me to be behind the set of drums, and that's pretty powerful. My podcast is more of me, although I have people playing. I had John Resnick from Goo Goo Dolls play. I had John 5 from Marilyn Manson. He's now with Motley Crue performing, and Phil X from John Bon Jovi's band, or Bon Jovi. And so, yeah, check it out. I think the visual is
awesome.
Is incredible.
All right, Kenny, when it comes to movies, what are you liking these days? Because you're doing a lot of stuff, obviously, and you're not slowing down. You don't look 71, and neither does your twin, so that's a good thing. But what are you seeing movie-wise? Because obviously, I'm a movie whore. Deborah's a screenwriter and executive producer. She's got some things coming. So what are you liking when it comes to movies?
I like authenticity. I'm like, two of the favorite movies that I saw, it came out a couple of years ago, was like The Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman. It was genius. Everything about the storyline, the lighting, the acting was, and he of course won the Oscar for that one. I loved Hostiles. I saw the premiere of that with Christian Bale. I just love the fact that they shot it in film. They shot it in sequence. The director, Cooper, I'm spacing his first name. Cooper had, he would sit around the campfire at night and they would discuss where the movie was at. And he was open to adjusting the script to make it better. He also did, Scott Cooper's his name. He also did another movie with Christian Bale. What was that one? Out of the Furnace, maybe. It's just, these movies are just, there's a script, but they improvise within the script. And a guy like him, this director, like Francis Ford Coppola, will keep things going off of the script if it's authentic and real. I'm trying to think of a real fascinating movie that I saw. Oh my God, it came out this year. I can't remember the name. What's her name? One. It's a very strange. It's where. What is it called? Paper or something? Maybe no. It's where they took the brain out of a woman who was committing suicide.
You're talking about Poor Things.
Body.
Poor Things.
Yeah, Poor Things. Woo! That movie was fascinating to me because I had no idea what was happening, and the acting was incredible. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Is this what happened? And it was done very well. I love the coloration of it. I love the directing. I mean, everything about it was unique and special. And there were some movies. Yeah, I won't say the movies I didn't like because. I don't want to insult anybody, but I tend to go for things that are real and authentic. Mm-hmm. And I know there's some other movies out there, but I go back to movies so I go back to The Darkest Hour. I'll always go back to Apocalypse Now. I'll always go back to the Godfather movies because I always see something special in them and I don't get bored of them because the acting is so phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. We got about 60 to 90 seconds left. Deborah, I got to ask you this. You can't get out of here. What made you want to be a screenwriter, and how did you become an executive producer?
I was the only one that wanted to pay for it. I also kind of heard this voice inside me saying, if you really care about this, you should be the one to sacrifice the most, right? Mm-hmm. So I did that. And I love storytelling. I love it. I love to read stories. I love to watch movies. And, not as well as Kenny does. He's got quite a wide variety of films there that he knows about. But I do love watching movies. I really do. And I love to see them told, with excellence.
All right. One last time. Rachel Roberts, social media links.
Find me at Rachel Ann Roberts, Rachel Roberts Recipes and Coffee Talk.
Howard.
Howard Wiggins Facebook, and I'm shooting a movie this Sunday called Without Warning. I'll be playing the part of a policeman, and so look for me then.
Kenny?
It'll be in the theaters.
Well, you can go on. I'm on every social media platform. Instagram, Kenny Aronoff. X is Aronoff Official. Facebook, I got 3 Facebook pages. It's my name, and I think LinkedIn, the same thing. And
Deborah?
TikTok, of course.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and IMDb. I'm very boring when it comes to social
You
work.
are not boring. If you wrote this movie, you are not boring. No.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Mindfulmutiny.com.
All right. So as I always say, thank you, everybody. When technology doesn't work, it sucks. When it does work, it's wonderful. Just like the man who saved the internet with a sunflower we had on. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be doing this. And Kenny, thank you for getting on. I always say this. Have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. You see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours. I'm Brian Sebastian. Thank all of you, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Can do. Kenny, you still there?